Look out, y'all. Ashy Knuckles. I'm gonna be real brief, okay? Um, in the aftermath of Peterson versus Garcia, it seems there are a lot of mixed feelings in terms of what happened in the fight, and I just want to go over some basic fundamental facts when it comes to scoring fights, because to me it seems like that's where the confusion is coming from. Now, boxing is scored off of effective aggression, defense, clean punching, and ring generalship. And no matter what you may have want to have seen in the ring, you don't waver from what the scoring criteria is. In the fight, Peterson elected to box on the move for the first half of the fight. Granted, I would like to have seen Peterson fight on the inside, but you don't take a round away from him because he elected to box on the outside. Because if you look at the scoring criteria, it does not say judge the fight based on what you want to have seen in the fight. I wanted to see him foul on the inside, he foul on the outside, give the point to the other guy. That's not the way it works. The scoring criteria is the scoring criteria. Point blank, period. In the first half of the fight, Peterson boxed behind the jab. He would jab to the head, jab to the body, make Garcia miss, move, counter, and pivot out of the way. Now, granted, his punch output wasn't very high, but at the end of the day, the cleaner work was being done by the guy who was moving. So you don't give the round to Garcia, who actually did less because he was moving his hands more. It was not effective. He was aggressive. He was not effective. Was he landing clean punches? No, he was missing. All of these people saying all that great body work earlier. What great body work? He was missing. He was missing. Defense. Did he have defense? No, he was eating jabs. So he's not. Was he the ring general? No. He wasn't dictating the pace of the fight. He was trying to adapt to the pace that was set by Lamont. How did he adapt? He did not do a good job adapting, because a guy who does a good job adapting to the pace set forth by the guy who is moving is you cut the ring off. You shrink the ring in size because you're cutting off everywhere he goes. You want to look at a good example of that, watch Costa Zoo fight. Costa Zoo is a guy who never complained that a guy was moving. He loved to fight the guys he had to hunt down because he was effective at it. Danny Garcia is not. He wants to fight on the inside or bust. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I'm just saying the scoring criteria is what it is. And round by round, Lamont Peterson dominated in terms of the scoring criteria. Now, granted, it wasn't pleasing to the eyes. The fans started to boo. But that does not mean you give the point to the guy who was doing less. It's not, okay, the fans are booing, I want to see Lamont Peterson fight on the inside, I'm going to give the round to the other guy. If you look at the scoring criteria, it does not say judge the fight based on what the crowd is pleased with. You understand what I'm saying? It's still effective aggression, clean punching, defense, and ring generalship. Lamont Peterson was the ring general. He did what he wanted when he wanted. When he wanted to box, he boxed. When he wanted to walk him down, he walked him down. There was absolutely nothing that Danny Garcia did in the ring that would let a judge know that the fight was going the way he wanted it to go. He was frustrated early. He was frustrated late. He could not adapt to Lamont Peterson, who was boxing. He could not adapt to Lamont Peterson, who was fighting. He was befuddled in there. How are you giving rounds to the guy who was doing less? You understand what I'm saying? He's aggressive. He is the aggressor. But it's not effective because nothing he was doing was working. You understand? The fight is, boxing is scored very simply. It's the scoring criteria and you judge it based on that, not judged by what you wanted to see. Like I said before, I would love to have seen an inside fight the entire time. But when I look at the scoring criteria, it does not say judge it based on what Ashy Knuckles wants to see. I would have loved to see a much more pleasing fight. But if you're going to score fights, score it the right way. Everybody talking about he ran for the first half of the fight. Was he landing punches? Yes. Was Garcia landing punches? Absolutely not. What was Garcia doing? He was walking him down. Not even walking him down. He was He was actually chasing him as if he's a donkey and somebody had a stick with a carrot hanging from him, just following him around the ring instead of cutting the ring off, because that would have been effective aggression, not just chasing a guy, getting hit with jabs, and not being able to adapt to him pivoting and moving and boxing on the move. There was nothing that Garcia did. At the end of the fight, Garcia's face told the story of the fight. He was letting his hands go early. He was not landing punches. Lamont Peterson was moving his head every time he threw a punch. The punch was not landing. He was ducking, evading, getting out of the way. There was nothing Garcia was doing. You do not give the points to the guy who is doing less. You don't give it to him based on the merit of what he wanted to happen in the ring. You give it to him based on what he was doing in the ring. And what he was doing was not working. So you don't get mad because Peterson didn't oblige Danny Garcia. You still judge it by who actually won the round based on what was going down in the ring. And what was going down in the ring was a boxing lesson. Now, Peterson could have helped himself more by being more active, but activity, again, activity does not win fights. Clean punching wins fights. Just because you're letting your hands go does not mean you win the round. When you are connecting these punches and it's having an effect on your opponent and it makes him have to adjust to what you're doing, then you win the round. And there was absolutely nothing that Danny Garcia did that would make anyone in that ring tonight had to adjust to him. Danny was the one that constantly had to adjust. He couldn't keep up with the timing. He couldn't keep up with Lamont Peterson's rhythm. And late in the fight, he couldn't even keep up with the inside fight, which caters to his boxing style. So when people saying Lamont gave away the first 7 rounds, based on what? How do you give 7 rounds to the guy who did less? I'll tell you why. It's because you gave him the rounds because you wanted Lamont to be more active. At the end of the day, fights are not scored based on what you want to see. You still have to score the fight based on what is actually taking place in the ring. There's nothing emotional about it. The scoring criteria is what it is. And if you can't abide by the scoring criteria, then you're not effective at scoring fights. You have an idea of what you think should be happening in the ring, but fights are not scored based on what you think should be happening. It still goes down to the 4 basic fundamental principles of how to score boxing. It has not changed. It's been the same year after year after year. There's been many fights when Muhammad Ali jabbed a dude to death and he was getting rounds. I could think of something more recently. Look at the rematch with Rocky Juarez versus Marco Antonio Barrera. Barrera only landed jabs. He jabbed and jabbed and jabbed and moved around the ring the whole time. He won. You didn't see this outcry. You didn't see these media members saying, oh, he ran the whole time. They're so fickle, man. They change and flip-flop back and forth. Boxing is still the sweet science. This is not a look. Boxing is not scored based on a guy having to stand still and brawl because that's what you wanted to see. That's what you expected to see that night. You still have to take your own element out of it, of what you want to see. You got to take that out of the actual picture and score based on what's actually happening in the ring. Like I said, I was not entertained for the first half of the fight from what Lamont Peterson was doing. I was not entertained, but at the end of the day, what he was doing was working, and he was winning based on what he was doing, no matter if the crowd booed or me. I'm like, damn, Lamont, come on, man, put it on him. I got to take myself out of the picture when scoring fight and base it on the activity that's taking place in the ring. And what happened in the ring is that the guy who officially got the L last night should have been the guy who got the W last night. And that's just point blank period. There was nothing Danny Garcia did in the ring where he was deserving of the rounds. Absolutely nothing. There is nothing that he did that swung the fight in his favor from round 1 to round 12. He got a boxing lesson last night, and he got his ass whooped last night. And the true winner got the shaft. I'm done with it. Deuce.